Hey guys, my name is Hannah, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review on Richelle Mead's A Glittering Court. I'm a lover of Vampire Academy bloodlines. The majority of her books that I've read, I've absolutely devoured. I just love to bits. But I'm not gonna lie, I really had been hesitant about picking up A Glittering Court since it came out. I would go to bookstores and I would see it and I was like, I don't really know if I want to part with $25 because it's a lot of money to spend on a book that you're not sure you're really like gonna love. But yeah, I've been seeing it constantly around bookstores and Bookstagram, and eventually I was just like, I caved in and I bought it. I didn't buy the physical copy, but I bought the ebook. So it only cost me a few dollars, and maybe by not buying the physical copy makes me not a true Richelle Mead fan, but So I read this ebook edition and I read it in one sitting. You can absolutely fly through this book, no problem. I like to consider myself a fairly OG Richelle Mead kind of gal. I'm not gonna say like OGs in 2007, but like OGs in like 2010. That's probably around when I picked up Vampire Academy. And like I still see people picking up Vampire Academy now. I'm just like, oh you guys got such a long way to go. It's gonna ruin you. And I'm like, it's been ruining me for like a good 6 years now, so. The story follows a high lady whose fortunes run out and she kind of has no choice but to marry her cousin. Yes, that's right, you heard it here first, folks. She has to marry her cousin. If that was me, I'd be like, my fortune's just gonna run out. It's fine. I don't know. I don't need money. It's fine. I'll be poor. And so she has to marry her cousin to save herself from ruin, but she's like, hell no. I am not about that life. No. In that moment, I was like, thank God you said no, please, because I could not read this book if it was about marrying her cousin. I've read one too many books like that and I couldn't do it again. When she decides this life isn't for her anymore, she's not gonna marry her cousin, she just happens to be presented this opportunity for a better life and just like an adventure, something she's always wanted. So she trades in her life of high society for another life of high society. She meets university student Cedric, who presents her with the opportunity to join the Glittering Court, hence the title name. He presents her with this opportunity to be part of the Glittering Court, to be trained to be a high lady despite being a fancy little lady already. They're trained to be high ladies and then sold off to be wives in the new land. I was kind of not loving it when I heard that, but I was like, I'm gonna see where this goes. I'll stick it out, it's fine. So what made me want to stick it out is what intrigued me the most is that our main character, or any of these characters, they get picking their husband. Whoever wants to be their husband, they get to pick out of that selection. So I was like, okay, it could be okay. So out of all the men that she's presented with, she gets to pick the one that, you know, tickles her fancy. Which, to be honest, I think is a bit of a step up from marrying her cousin. I've said this before, but this was an extremely quick read. I read this in what, like last Saturday, one sitting, no problem. I think this was a very different step in from what I feel I've been used to in Richelle Mead's writing. I've been very attached to the Vampire Academy world and like the Generation X series. Those are the ones I've been like in. I do think it was a very different world that we're used to from any of her writing. I think this is a very different direction for her, very different world building, which I think was quite nice to see. Okay, so I didn't hate this book, but I didn't love it either, which I have to say I did find really quite disappointing because I find myself a lover of all of Richelle Mead's books. This book is classified fantasy, but I don't really think it should because it doesn't entail those fantastical elements like magic and just creatures that you don't know of. Like I suppose the religion, which if you do read this book you will find kind of plays into it, but to me it wasn't fantasy. If you see this book and you're like, oh my god, it's fantasy, I'm gonna get something like Throne of Glass or Shadow and Bone, you're not getting that. Just a heads up. What really did intrigue me with this book was the title of it, The Glittering Court. I was like, ooh, this is nice. I think this is a really lovely title, because we can't deny it. Some of Richelle Mead's titles, I'm just like, we went there. Right. Cool. Truthfully do think this is a major step up for her in the title region. I don't know, everyone's like, I can't believe Richelle Mead hasn't learned that putting people on covers isn't like a good thing. I think this was a nice cover with a nice face and a nice just background. She probably doesn't actually have say in what goes on the cover, so oh well. And I think it's a nice cover. I don't hate it. I thought it was pretty nice. Thanks. Cool. The novel was very fast-paced and at times it wasn't the fast pace that I would enjoy. To be honest, I felt like perhaps that this one novel could have been two novels. I feel like the first half could have been the first book and the second one is the sequel. I felt like if maybe we had drawn out the first half of the book and made it more intricate in the details while we're at the Glittering Court, and then the second book when it's like the adventure begins, that could have been a bit better. Like, so much happens, which is great, but like, if you like to have an intricate novel, this may not be for you. I definitely don't want people to think I'm bashing this book because I had a good time while reading it. I just do have a few things here and there I was like, ugh, maybe. Though this book does have its weak points, it definitely does have its strong points, and one of that being it is a really quick and easy read. Definitely a fun, quick read that is enjoyable. It's definitely enjoyable if you aren't looking for anything too serious and to just, you don't want your heart to be broken, then come right over here. If you are a die-hard fan of Richelle Mead, this book, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it, because if you are faithful to her, you're gonna be like, hallelujah, our queen's blessed us once more. But if you are looking for a more Rose Hathaway-esque kind of character, this isn't the book for you. But in saying that, that definitely is not a bad thing whatsoever.